Having travelled from around the world, the 2014 Royal Langkawi International Regatta welcomed a world-class fleet of boats and crew and delivered some of the best racing in the regatta's 12-year history. The regatta was officially started by the Minister of Tourism and Culture, who together with the CEO of the Langkawi Development Authority got the boats off in a building breeze on day one. Three windward lewards for the racing class, and it was Peter Ahern's crew on Oi who won all three races, while damage to Jellic saw them retire early. The Malaysian Navy entry Utarid came to the fore on day two, taking the win in race 1, while Jellic was back and enjoying the breeze with a win in race 2. 2 second places for Oi, keeping them on top of the standings. A downwind spinnaker run for the Round the Islands race on day 3 saw Jellic power up and head off over the horizon, leaving the fleet in her wake. Jellic never looked back and went on to claim line honours in a new Round the Island race record and the win on corrected time. Elsewhere on the course, the two Malaysian Navy teams, Uranus and Utarid, were enjoying the good winds, and at times just metres separated them on the water.
We are not very lucky because this is a long distance course, around the island course. This is advantage to the big boat like Jellic and Oi. So we just we have done our best, and not too bad. We just finished 4th place for today. The wind very tricky behind the hill. That's why sometimes we got the wind, and then sometimes Charlie got the wind. So I have to protect my position, and Utarid also they want to win with us also. That's why we fighting each other just now.
A number of top boats in the Asian Yachting Grand Prix have lined up in the IRC 1 class, and it was Foxy Lady 6 who got the early jump with 3 wins on day 1. Looking forward to stronger wins over the coming days are BMW Yacht Sport, led by Gerhard Pils, CEO of BMW Group Malaysia.
Today was the first race day, and it was a very beautiful day. The wind was steady, even in the afternoon a bit less at the very end. Yeah, a beautiful racing day. Of course for us, since we are a very new team, international team sailing the first time together, people from sailors, friends from Austria and from Malaysia, one from Hong Kong as well. So we are getting better race by race, and we enjoyed it a lot. The highlights have been when we saw that we could keep up with our major competition, because of course we realized that we are the smaller sport, or second smaller sport. We thought in the beginning we started not too bad. And the low light was that at the very end we got slower and slower.
New to the circuit is Hong Kong-based Red Kite 2. While at a disadvantage to Foxy Lady 6 on the windward leeward races, the longer courses saw them push Foxy Lady 6 hard. A series of seconds kept them in the running after the 3 days, but it was Foxy Lady 6 who had an unbeaten record going into the final 2 days. Defending their title in IRC2 are Phoenix, a multiple regatta winner and with a close-knit crew who are hard to beat, but this year are up against a number of newcomers and a long-time rival, Skybird. Phoenix got off to a flyer and sailed consistently over the first 3 days, scoring 6 wins from 6 races, with Skybird placing second in all. Off to a slow start were newcomers Orion Pacific with a 4th in the first race of the series. The crew started to find their rhythm and put in a run of 3rd places to sit 3rd overall after 6 races. 6 1-design Platoos lined up in the sports boat class, and it was ATM1 who got their series off to the best start with a 2-1-1 scoreline on the first day. Despite some damage and on-the-water repairs, the fleet managed to get 2 races in on day 2, and a 3-1 for ATM1 gave them a 3-point lead over their nearest rival MYA.
Today's racing, we have a race outside. It's a coastal race. A little blustery to my team at the first race, so we hit 3rd place, and we make a revenge at the 2nd place at the 2nd race, and we got it back at the 1st position. We will try our best to maintain our position, to give all out. Actually, we have a problem while beating to get a right angle to our right sail shape to beat Nizam. He's very good in beating, but he got problem with downwind position. So every time he beat me on beating, and then I catch up on running.
Newcomers to the regatta and plateau sailing, Thailand's Phuket Youth Sailing Club team were improving race by race, and on day 3 they placed 4th with the race honours going to MYA. A mix of cruising and racing cats made up the Multihull class this year, and it was Phuket-based Asia Catamaran's Afterburner who scored 2 convincing wins on day 1 to get a jump on the fleet.
Great breeze, very up and down. There was a lot of sort of big pressure lines and lots of light spots. So really we just concentrated on staying in the pressure, and downwind we did really well. We were just able to get into the pressure, and the boat's so fast and slippery that suddenly you blink and we're gone. So that's sort of what we did in both races. That was really our strategy, just to stay in the pressure lines and try and stay out of the tide in the first race, which was quite strong, and it seemed to work for us.
Another win on day 2, and Asia Catamaran's Afterburner were sitting pretty, appearing to have the advantage over a wide range of conditions.
It's quite good across a broad range of conditions. I think if it gets really lumpy and big waves, then it might suffer because it's very light. But in this regatta, I would expect, in fact most Asian regattas, that you rarely see that situation.
Langkawi, however, was about to rewrite the books with 20 knots of breeze on day 3, which played into the hands of Grenville Fordham's Andaman Cabriolet Nina, who sailed away with a win, beating Asia Catamaran's Afterburner by almost 5 minutes on corrected time. The cruising boats were out in force in the club and white sail classes, and it was Russian entry Elena in club class who put 2 wins on the board on day 1 and followed with 2 more wins on day 2. In white sail, Semisteri got an early jump on the class with 2 wins on the first day, but by day 3 the tables were turning, with Virgo improving race by race. They went on to win the Round the Island race on day 3, and Pythias Aura placed 2nd to shake up the standings. It was all change on day 3 in the club class, also with Rusalka taking the win from Ruskal and Elena having to settle for 3rd. A slightly depleted Ocean Rover class this year saw the gracefully ageing classic Eveline, skippered by Dato Richard Curtis, up against Wolf Henning Lenz's My Toy. Enjoying the fresh breeze early on, Eveline scored 3 wins over the first 3 days to put them in a commanding position. While classic boat racing in Asia is relatively limited, seeing Eveline out on the water and still racing strong is a sight to treasure, and one Dato Richard hopes will encourage more classic yacht owners to come and join the fun.
You just need to attract more boats of that vintage to be in Asia. There are quite a few, but most of them are not really designed for racing. It's a bit of a struggle to get them together because the owners have divergent views and they are scattered across the whole of Asia. I wish there were more. We like racing, but we want to race against our own kind. So I hope we can attract more yachts to do a race like this. And the ideal race is something like the Langkawi Regatta because it's day racing. So you don't have the inconvenience of being in a boat all night, which can often be uncomfortable. You can go out in the morning, come back at the end of the day, having had a good day out in fabulous scenery and raced competitively against boats of one similar kind.
An archipelago of 99 islands, Langkawi is a natural treasure of Malaysia with much to offer visitors. The island combines nature and beautiful seascapes with unique culture and cuisine. Add to that the iconic Sky Cab, Langkawi Eagle, and many other attractions around the island, and Langkawi is the destination of choice for over 1 million visitors each year. The first event of the Visit Malaysia 2014 campaign, the Royal Langkawi International Regatta this year, welcomed the Minister of Tourism and Culture, who together with the Ministry have been long-term supporters of the event. The Royal Langkawi International Regatta is organised and hosted by the Royal Langkawi Yacht Club. Located at the mouth of Kua Harbour, Royal Langkawi Yacht Club provides safe marina berthing for competitors and shore support services. Established in 1996, the Yacht Club and 200-berth marina has become the focus of yachting and marine leisure tourism in Langkawi and welcomes cruises, races and super yachts, and has hosted the Royal Langkawi International Regatta for all of its 12 years.
When this club was opened way back in '96, we were a pretty small marina. We had a capacity to have about only for 46 boats. In 2002, we did an expansion. We expanded the marina with an additional 157 berths. We also built a breakwater. With that, we felt that it was time for Langkawi to have its own yachting event or regatta. Langkawi is just not sailing, it's got a lot of other things to do. We are rich with nature. So moving forward, I'm looking at to build it as a good, interesting and a challenging regatta in this region. I would like to see this regatta growing as one a competitive regatta in this region. Would love to see more boats coming in here, more quality boats, more participants, not just to come and participate in the regatta, but also to come and enjoy the island of Langkawi.
The club and the regatta have both played an important role in the promotion of youth sailing in Malaysia, and the Minister of Youth and Sports joined the regatta this year to celebrate this and acknowledge the achievements by Malaysian youth sailors at the recent SEA Games. A number of these sailors were also taking part in the regatta, racing for the first time on a large keelboat. They competed aboard Sababa together with owner-skipper Grant Wickman and his wife.
We saw the sailing school over here and it's a fantastic facility. Went and talked to them about what we wanted to put some children on the boat, and we've got 17 to 19-year-old boys and girls on the boat. 2 of them are qualifying for the Olympics this year in Spain. So there's some really good sailors there, and this is a great chance for them, and we needed a nice crew on the boat, so it's great, works well.
Giving Malaysian youth sailors new opportunities and the chance to compete against top international sailors is something the regatta will continue to provide. Heading into the final 2 days, there was still plenty to play for, and as the winds continued to build, anything could still happen. Jellic was on form and scored 2 more wins on the penultimate day to sit just 4 points behind Oi, who despite Jellic's late run were still in a commanding position and sailing well. The best was saved to last with over 20 knots delivering a final day to remember. You could see the smiles on the crew's faces as Jellic powered up demolished the IRC racing fleet, scoring 2 bullets on the last day. A great way to finish the series, but it was never going to be enough to knock Oi off their perch, who, with another second in the first race on the day, sealed the title.
Today's was pretty tough racing. It was very windy. I mean, the windiest day we've had so far. It was a solid 25 knots, gusting 27, 28. I mean, it's been very good sailing. It's always a great course, you know, the courses and where we race here are very nice, and the marina and everything. So, I mean, I love this regatta. It's a very convenient, easy regatta to compete in.
In IRC 1, Foxy Lady 6 put another win on the board in the windward leeward race, but over the longer course they had to settle for second after the Hong Kong team on Red Kite 2 put in a great performance to take their first win of the regatta.
Really great racing. We had some fresh breezes this morning, up to 25 knots and consistently around 20 knots, which is fantastic to see in Asia. Like, everyone sort of says that it is light wind sailing, but Actually, the last 5 regattas we've done, it's been far from light wind sailing. It's been quite moderate, and today quite fresh, so very good day sailing.
Today was a terrific day. It's consistent with the week as a whole. It's a fantastic location, terrific winds, beautiful winds, steady, nice breeze, the flat water, and very competitive group out there. And we've had our challenge against particularly the Foxy Lady boat, which is probably one of the best sailed boats in Asia. It's a terrific design, got a great team, tactician who knows the waters inside and out. So we've been very challenged to stay up with them. I'd say we have probably on board one of the best teams we've ever had for any regatta, and the boat has been hitting all its numbers. I think against the competition of the pier-sized boats, we've been doing pretty well, but keeping up with them has been a real challenge for us, so we're thrilled today to get a win off them.
Very good competitors. They've won a lot of regattas in the last couple of years. We seem to have a bit of an edge on them in the windward lewards. They're running the asymmetrical spinnaker, we've got the symmetric spinnaker, and we do seem to come downwind, much better than them. So that's where we do get our time on them on IRC. So I think we will be having 2 windward lewards, fingers crossed, because that's where we're strongest for sure.
Sailing a near-perfect race, Red Kite 2 blew their spinnaker on the downwind leg to give up an almost certain victory in race 1, allowing Foxy Lady 6 another bullet, which secured the series. Not starting the last race, their record is 8 wins out of 9 races and a well-deserved overall win. Red Kite 2, their first time competing in these waters, finished the series with a 2-1 and comfortably placed second in the standings. In IRC 2, Niels Degenkov and his crew on Phoenix were proving unbeatable, having won 6 from 6 so far. 2 more wins on the penultimate day and a 2-1 on the final day saw them take the title comfortably. Their only loss came to Orion Pacific, who finished 3rd overall behind Malaysian entry Skybird.
Racing today was good, lots of fun. Really windy, so it was more survival conditions than sort of full-out racing. We've had a good selection of courses from the race officer, some courses in the harbour here, some courses out on the coast, and some around the island stuff, and lots of Talaga as well, so good variety. The venue's pretty good, you've got a good variety of different places you can go sailing, and the marina here is really good, like a lot of regattas in Asia are on anchorages, so yeah, it's good.
Starting day 4 as series leaders in the sports boat class were ATM 1, but that was all to change after suffering damage in race 1. A DNF and a DNS dropped them to 3rd overall, while MYA took advantage with a 1-3 scoreline and moved to the top of the standings. Elsewhere in the fleet, Comeback Kids on the Phuket Youth Sailing Club Thailand team upped their game and scored 2 well-earned 4th places. On the final day, the conditions proved a huge challenge for the small 25-foot plateaus. There were a number of broaches and plenty of bruises, and the PRO called it a day after a single race. Despite a 4th for MYA today and a 1st for ATM 1, it wasn't enough, and ATM relinquished their title with MYA being crowned the class winners. In the multi-hull class, it was back to winning ways for Asia Catamaran's Afterburner in both races on day 4, and despite sailing well in the longer race, Andaman Cabriolet Nina couldn't quite catch the fast Stealth Cat. The final day saw just a single race, and despite a DNF for Asia Catamaran's Afterburner, they still take the series title. Andaman Cabriolet Nina favours the stronger winds, and in over 20 knots of breeze they added another first to their series tally to finish comfortably in 2nd overall. A busy start line on day 4 saw the Club, Ocean Rover and White Sail classes off together and first in sequence, and the downwind start proved a test for some. Leonette scored their first win of the regatta in the club class, pushing into 3rd the Russian team on Elena, who suffered a broken boom on the last leg of the race.
Today was a good day for us. In the first half of the day, we start first and pass all gates first. And when we come back from last mark, we do a last drive, and very strong wind come, and we broke our boom, and I think it's over. We down sail, main sail off, and use only Jenna and fast. I think if tomorrow only one race, we won. If race committee maybe give second race for tomorrow, I think no chance.
Going into the last day, Alina's broken boom was a concern, but sailing carefully they placed second, tied with Rusalka, which was fast enough to win the club class title ahead of the Chinese team on Leonette. Dato Richard Curtis was unable to be on board Eveline for the final 2 days, and although having built up a good lead over the first 3 days, the competition wasn't over. The well-oiled crew continued their outstanding performance and sailed the 87-year-old Eveline impeccably to take the last 2 wins of the series and finish undefeated. Pushing them all the way was My Toy, who, having raced against Eveline for many years, this time had to settle for second. The white sail class have battled hard all week, with positions changing daily, and these cruising boats really enjoying the strong winds to stretch their legs. Semistry managed only a 4th on the penultimate day, while Chantique closed the gap, finishing second in the race. In joint second was Virgo, leaving them just 1 point further back and still in the running going into the final day. The last day beckoned and the winds were up after a passage race down Kua Harbour. It was Pythias Aura who sailed best and took their second win of the series. Chantique placed second, but it was not enough, and in the end it was Semistry who claimed the class win. The 2014 Royal Langkawi International Regatta will go down in the record books as the best yet, and possibly one of the best ever in the Andaman Sea region. Enjoy the thrills and spills from the eyes of Go Yachting.
It's great to win it again.